The best way I can describe the boys' diabolical is that it kind of reminds me a little bit of the MCU's What If, like the What If television series. It kind of reminded me of that, but because it's the boys, it's more it's more fucked up. It's a lot more graphic and disgusting, in typical boys fashion. Um, it's an anthology series, so each episode has its own unique story. Some of them I liked better than others. I like the first episode. It kind of reminded me of it. It got it gave me a lot of Rick and Morty vibes, which I heard like the writers or someone um, actually worked on Rick and Morty, which is why the animators, I guess the animators worked on Rick and Morty, which is why I felt very familiar. I did like I remember the Aquafina episode, which yeah, it's kind of like anime. It kind of had this cute but yet disgusting boys vibe to it with the deep. Um, the emotional one was pretty. The emotional one was the old woman with the cancer, and yeah, and then her husband, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen. It's been a long while since I've seen the boys diabolical, but I'm trying to remember the details. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, my favorite episode is the finale. It's kind of like you get to see. It's like the origin of Homelander. Um, you get to see the origin of Homelander, and you get to see a bit of his flashbacks. You get to see a bit of him as a child, like during like 1 second, like 1 to 2 second flashbacks. That's like very brief. It just cuts in. It just yeah. Yeah, that's probably the finale is probably my favorite one, and I do like how every episode has has a different like animation. Has they I guess maybe they brought in different animators for each episodes, and I do like how this animated show is the closest we'll get to like the actual boys comics. Like in in the Diabolical series, we get to see the comic book versions of all these characters, of Homelander, of Billy Butcher, Huey, Queen Maeve, and we get an appearance from and we got our very first appearance of Jack from Jupiter from any fans of the boys comic book series. So that is nice to see. um yeah, so well, yeah, not many people know, but like Billy Butcher in the comics, he doesn't have he doesn't look like Carl Urban like in the show. In the live action series, he doesn't have like a facial hair. He's just clean. He's either if he did, it's pretty much clean shaved. But yeah, and then Huey, I did like he in this Diabolical series, his face actually does look like the comics, which is Simon Pegg, and Simon Pegg actually voiced Um, Huey in this Diabolical series, which was a nice touch because Huey in the comics, the comic book version of Huey, his face is modeled and designed after Simon Pegg's, which I heard they wanted Simon Pegg to play Huey in like I think a live action like movie, like a trilogy, but it never came. But I guess like because of the budget and production, and because of the budget and the effects back then weren't like up to date. They weren't enough. It wasn't enough like unlike today, like unlike modern day, these recent years. But yeah, but he didn't, Simon Pegg he didn't get to play Huey, but he did get to play as Huey's dad. So there's that. Um, he gets to play a Huey, and a lot of the actors, not all, but most of the actors from the live action series does come back and voiced it does come back and voice these characters. It does, come back to the voice their own characters in this show, like Anthony Starr comes back to voice Homelander. Chase Crawford came back to voice the Deep. So those are just two examples. But yeah, yeah. So we get to see characters from this Diabolical series that is from the comics, like Groundhog and Nubia, for example. Um, so there's that. S- I think that's pretty much it. I thought like overall as a series, I think it's a little bit better. I think it's maybe partially better than What If. Um, but I don't think it's great. I think it's just a fun little thing. I think, just like What If, I think, The Boys Presents Diabolical is just a fun little, free time, a fun little entertaining, one way roller coaster. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, that's all I have to say for The Boys Presents Diabolical. Um, Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. That's pretty much it. That's all my thoughts on this animation series, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.